One of the highlights of this year's 69th annual Quincy Christmas Parade will be the UMass Minuteman Marching Band performance, 380 members strong, one of the largest bands to ever grace the Quincy Christmas Parade. And we are pleased here at QATV to get a little preview, a little background information to the band from three of its members. So we welcome Jonna Borowski, Zoe Cohen, and Emily Laus. Jonna, with you, if that's okay, because in addition to being a member of the band, you're also kind of in charge of promotions for the band. Is that right?
Yes, I am the publicity and recruitment manager. Emily is actually somebody on my staff, but yeah, we handle all of the promotion and the recruitment for all the seasons. It's a really fun job that we get to do.
So tell me a little bit about your experience at UMass, how you got there, where you're from, and what you do there.
Yeah, so I am from Millbury, Massachusetts, which is in Central Mass, and I grew up doing a lot of marching band. I started in eighth grade, and we would go to a lot of competitions where UMass would be doing exhibition performances. So I, in high school, got to see them a lot, which was amazing. You know, they were still kind of the powerhouse that they are right now. And when I was looking at colleges and, some of my choices, I wanted to go to school for music. So obviously a really good music program, a really good band had to be there. So UMass was my first choice. I was so excited when I got in. I have done marching band at UMass all 3 of my years. I'm a junior undergrad student right now. I played the tenor saxophone in marching band. I'm a music education major, so it's really, really cool to be able to be in such a huge ensemble of people that just all love music as much as I do. It's really awesome.
So the band itself, are what are the grade levels of the members, I guess, if you will, and how does one become a member?
Yeah, so any pretty much anybody can join band. We've had people, I believe, about as old as 50 in the past coming back to do some undergraduate studies, which is really awesome. And you basically just have to be enrolled at UMass or any of the five colleges, which is really cool that we get to invite people from other schools to come be with us. There are no auditions for our band aside from drumline. So if you want to be in this band, we say band is for everyone. We will find you a spot. It is really awesome. We march, I believe, we march a lot of wind instruments, almost anything that you can think of. We have a huge front ensemble, a huge color guard. We have a featured twirler team. And I love that really, if you want to do this, we will find something for you to do, whatever you want and whatever your abilities are, we will make it happen.
Interesting. I didn't realize that I just only assumed it would just be current students, in the bands. 380 members strong. Is that, would you say, one of the largest in the region?
Oh, yes, we are definitely one of the biggest bands in New England, in the Northeast right now. I know we have UConn, which is one of our really close schools. They have a really similar size band, and we're really good friends with them. But yeah, we are one of the biggest bands in the Northeast. It's awesome.
You've had some pretty impressive performances for some high-profile guests. Tell us a little bit about the band's history.
Yeah, we've done a lot in in our history. You know, we are such an old school. We have a really rich history. We've performed at a lot of presidential inaugurations. I believe two of them. I don't remember exactly which presidents. If anybody else does, feel free to step in. We've also performed a couple of years ago. We went to the Rose Parade in Pasadena, which was such a cool experience. We've marched the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And then, on a smaller scale, every year we go to the Micah marching band competition circuit, their finals, and we perform exhibitions for them, which is obviously it's not as big as a presidential inauguration, but it's really cool because it's a way to show younger students kind of what we're all about and how you can continue that love of marching band up into, your basically your 20s and as far as you want to take it. And I think it's a really cool thing because we have been doing that every year traditionally.
And the band has won some pretty prestigious awards in the past, right?
Yes, we are a recipient of the Sudler Award, which can only be given to a college band once in its entire history. I believe 1998, we were the recipients of that, and it's just to a marching band anywhere in the country that really goes above and beyond in its performance, in its function, in the way that it runs. We are so honored to have received that award.
So, how has the pandemic, Jana, impacted the band over the past couple of years, and how is it reemerging this year?
Yeah, COVID definitely hit very hard. My first year in the band was actually on Zoom, my freshman year. We called it the Zoom MMB, kind of like UMMB, and we would meet every single day on Zoom. And I think it was awesome how even in this crazy time, we were able to persevere. I played music in this very room on my clarinet with my my audio muted. I know everybody else here in the Zoom with me was also in the band at that time, so they can probably tell you it definitely felt really crazy, but it was really cool how we were able to keep everything running through the pandemic.
Sure. So let's bring in, yeah, we have Zoe Cohen and also Emily Laus with us as well. So Zoe, you were drum major in the Minuteman marching band?
Yes, I am. This is my third season as a drum major. So my first one was that pandemic year. Yeah, and I am a senior, but I will have a fifth year after this. So I'll be coming back next season as well.
So tell us the Zoe Cohen story, if you can, where you came from, how you got to UMass, where you hope to go.
Yeah, so I actually am from a small town in Northern California called Nevada City. It's about an hour outside of Lake Tahoe, hour outside of Sacramento. I was involved in music all the way through middle school and high school. I was a drum major for my high school's marching band. I competed in the Northern California Band Association solo drum major competitions. And I just loved it. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do for school, but I knew that if I was going to a university, I wanted it to have the best marching band that I could find. So I spent a lot of time looking into schools. I toured a bunch of universities on both the West Coast and the East Coast. I checked out, I think it was maybe 10 university marching bands in the Northeast and on the East Coast just to see like what the big schools were like. I looked at some Big Ten universities. I sat in on a bunch of band rehearsals, talked to different directors. This was my senior year of high school, and I came to the UMMB and I looked around on the campus, and then I sat in and I watched a rehearsal, an indoor rehearsal that Dr. Anderson was running with the marching band. And what struck me about the UMMB was that not only did it check every box of like university excellence, incredible people, but it also was such a welcoming environment. I remember I walked through the doors and everybody was inside grabbing their instruments. And every single person who saw me recognized that I was a new face, came over and said hello, told me about their section, asked me to join their section, talked about how awesome the band is, how much fun they have. Watching the rehearsal, Dr. Anderson was so welcoming to me, showed me a bunch of their traditions. I got to talk to the drum majors, learn about sort of the leadership structure and how the band was run. And, across the country with all the bands that I had seen, you have these huge, massive programs that are full of people from all different kinds of majors, from all different kinds of backgrounds. And really the UMMB was the one that felt like it was the most a home and a family. I am a music education major at UMass, and I am in the trumpet studio. My professor is Eric Berlin. He's fantastic. I'm very happy with my decision. I came out my freshman year and spent that year prepping to audition into the music program and preparing to audition for a drum major. Then we got sent home. My first drum major experience was the pandemic online, which was really, really interesting. But it's been a really great 4 years. I'm really looking forward to my final year this next year. And after this, I plan to teach publicly for a few years and then go back to grad school to get a master's in wind conducting.
Wow. Okay. So what is it like to be part of a 380 member band? What is that experience like as compared to like maybe your high school experience?
It's a very big difference. My high school band had about 30 members total in the marching band. That was about, I think, maybe like 12 wind players, maybe one of each section, a few color guard, and like one snare drum. And what I loved about that band was they truly were all my best friends. We all knew everything about each other. And I was nervous to let go of that, but I wanted something bigger. And coming into the UMMB, my freshman year as a trumpet player, I really just felt like I knew the people in my section. And I would like say hi to other people, and I made friends in other sections because everybody's really nice. But when you're in a trumpet section of 55, it still feels like it was bigger than my high school band, But I think becoming drum major was really the moment where all of a sudden I felt like I knew everybody. And with so many people, it can be hard sometimes, especially at the beginning of the year, because we'll get like 100 freshmen. So for the first week, there's like 100 new people that you've never seen before and you know nothing about, and you're just trying to learn everybody's names, and all got our little name tags on. But something sort of magical happens by the second, third week of the semester where all of a sudden everybody knows everybody. And there's just sort of this shift that happens where they're not like, it's not a bunch of people you haven't seen before or a bunch of new faces. It's a bunch of people that you've been working hard with and that you're learning all this stuff about. And with the band being the size it is, like, I think everywhere I go on campus, I see somebody in the band. Get on a bus and the bus driver is in the band. I go to the dining hall and there's a table of all of the flute players in the marching band. And they're like, oh, come sit with us. And it's such a special experience at a large state school like UMass to know so many people out the gate. And we do our band camp a week before the semester starts. So even for the freshmen coming in, I think it could be scary to come into college and not know people. I know my freshman experience, I was terrified coming across the country and realizing I wasn't going to know anybody on the campus at all or in the area at all. But when you come into the band, you immediately get a set of friends. You immediately get a family to go and eat your lunches with and your dinners with and hang out with on the weekends. I think that's what makes the largeness of our band, the size of our band, something that's so unique, but also so wonderful.
So you'll be be graduating next year. Do you anticipate staying in touch with folks that you've met?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody I live with now is somebody I met through the marching band. Most of my best friends I met through the marching band. Fully anticipate continuing my life, knowing people in the band, being best friends with people in the band, communicating, and hopefully coming back for alumni days and hanging out with the band in the future.
Yeah, is there actually an alumni association just for the band? Do you know?
There is. We have we have a lot of support systems in the band. Two of our biggest being the Alumni Association for the band, which is very, very full and strong. And they organize a lot of stuff for us. We do for like the homecoming game. We usually have them come out and play on the field with us, typically an arrangement of something that one of them did, because a lot of them have gone on to continue into music. And I know that there are different like Facebook groups and communities within the different sections. There's a lot of communication between alumni drum majors and current drum majors. And then we have our Parents Association, which is also really special, and they do a lot for us. Like when we go to Micah, they do a full cookout for all of the band. They feed all 386 of us, making burgers, and it's really special to have so much support, both within and outside of our organization.
Yeah, yeah. Will you move back to California, do you think, or will you put down roots here?
Well, I think for the first few years, hopefully, I'll be coming out of the music program with licensure in Massachusetts. So I'll likely be teaching in Massachusetts for a while before continuing on. I'm not sure where I want to go to pursue my master's degree yet. I'm still kind of figuring that out. I love California. I love it out in Massachusetts. Maybe I'll end up somewhere else. Maybe I'll end up in one of those places. I'm not sure.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we look forward to your performance coming up Sunday here in Quincy as well. We have Emily Laus with us also. Emily is in the color guard of the UMass Amherst Minutemen Marching Band. And Emily, thanks for patiently waiting to tell your story. How are you?
Well, I'm just glad to be here. Thank you. And yeah, how are you doing?
Great. We really appreciate this opportunity. We're really looking forward here in Quincy to having the band perform at the Christmas parades. As I was telling Jonna before we started recording this morning, that years and years, many years ago, Quincy had a very large band as well. As a matter of fact, they went to perform in the Cotton Bowl in the mid 70s. It has, since dwindled. It's combined between both high schools. There's about 60 members right now. To see a 380 member marching band coming down Hancock Street is going to be a spectacle for sure. But tell us a little bit about your background, if you could.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Western Mass. I've moved between a few different towns, but I'm currently in Montague. I commute to school. It's about 20 minutes from UMass Amherst. I came from a very small town of South Deerfield, and
home of the Yankee Candle Company, by the way.
Home of the Yankee Candle. Yeah, that's the common reference there. My high school band was maybe 35 people or so. and we didn't even have a color guard. It was just all wind people and percussion people, and it was definitely called the marching band, and I really appreciated them, but I didn't really know what marching band fully was because it was mostly just standing on the field and stationary and all that. And we did parades and all that, but coming to UMass was a crazy experience of just, wow, things are different. And I actually was first introduced to the marching band through Band Day, which is another really big event that UMass does every year, where they bring all the high schools over to UMass, and all the UMass band students will show the high school students what marching band in college is all about. And I actually was a trombone player for most of my life. So I was playing the trombone and I was learning through that. It was actually through a tech class at UMass that I started doing color guard this year. So all in all, really, I was looking into colleges that had good physics programs, because I was hoping to go into physics and renewable energy. And UMass was always on my list through my whole search, because my dad and my uncle went there and they were big band people and they were big science people. So it ended up working out that I made my way here, and the marching band was just a mandatory part of that anyway. Like, as soon as I got here, I'm just like, yep, I know where I'm going. That's the one thing that I knew for sure. And then I found my way here, and it's been 4 years now of just absolutely crazy and fun times.
So you're a senior also?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a senior. I did trombone for 3 years and color guard for 1.
Okay, which do you like better?
So many people have asked you that question. I don't feel like it's fair to really say one or the other.
We'll put it this way. What are the differences between the two?
They are very different. I mean, trombone was something I was used to, and the environment of the trombone is very different than the environment of color guard trombone players. They're very laid back. We're having a lot of fun, but it's a very kind of chill environment. And I remember just being surrounded by people there. Everybody was different. Everybody was weird in their own way, but we enjoyed that from each other. And the color guard is very high energy. They're very upbeat, and we're always striving for perfection best we can. And it's definitely an intense energy, but it's also a lot of fun just to see people having a great time all the time. So I really enjoy the color guard right now, because it just kind of brings out that energy in me, and smiling through the whole performance just makes it all the more fun in that way. But I have a love for both of them, and I really, it's like 2 children that a mom has. You can't really pick. At least you can't say who your favorite child is.
Yeah, I understand.
They're just both. I owe a lot to both of the sections.
So, it sounds like the color guard experience really appeals to your kind of analytical side. You're pursuing physics, so I mean, there is a certain exactity to being in color guard, right?
There is actually an exactness to both sides. I mean, yes, the color guard, there's a lot of physics in terms of like how the flag works and how to calculate in terms of the wind. If I had the chance, I could go into solving all these problems with my kinematics, and everyone would be like, what are you doing, Emily? But in terms of the trombone, it's really just a large tuning slide. And I actually did a presentation at one point about how like standing waves work for all that sort of stuff. So you can, okay. The trombone is actually really good for sound wave physics. So in a way, both of them, I picked the 2 very obvious physics sections, you could say, of the marching band. That was not intentional, but that's just how it worked out.
It might be innate.
Maybe just subconsciously, I was just like, oh yeah, that one.
So what are your hopes for the future?
My hopes for the future, I'm really interested in climate change and promoting renewable energy and promoting scientific communication. So I'm hoping to pursue a career in something along those lines and just protecting the environment. And I also do hope to keep music in my life. I've been in the Amherst community band for a few years now. It's directed by the same person who directs the marching band.
Oh.
And I do plan to keep on with that in the trombone section. The community band does not have a color guard, so I can't do much there.
Gotcha.
And from there, I'm really not sure. All I really
Okay.
know is that the things that I have now are the things that I hope to keep going with.
Yeah. What are you majoring in, by the way?
I'm majoring in physics and
Okay.
I'm minoring in classical civilization.
Okay. All right. Let's bring Jonna back if we can. And John, I'm curious to ask, first of all, who is the band leader for the Minuteman?
Yeah, so our director is Dr. Timothy Todd Anderson. He is awesome. He keeps the whole ship running. We definitely could not do what we do without him. He is amazing. And then we also have our director of all percussion, Ian Hale, and then we have Chris McHugh-Serrard, who is the color guard director, and then we have Christy Ox, who helps with our twirlers.
Okay. So I'm really keeping everybody literally in line, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about what practice is like to be in the marching band at UMass Amherst, and I'm assuming it's very physical and very rigorous.
Yes, so we start every year about a week before classes start. We have everybody in the band come for about a week. We have band camp. It is very fun. The practices are pretty long. We're usually starting at 7 or 8. We're usually probably going to 9 or 10. It's a very long day, but we definitely could not do the rest of the season without this week where we get to meet each other. We get to just start practicing. We get to start playing our music. And it's also a really great week because we get to welcome the freshmen. As upperclassmen, we are the first faces that they see. It's really cool to be able to welcome them to college for the first time and let them know, hey, if you want to get lunch, you already have 386 people sitting with you. But after band camp, we start our regular rehearsal schedule, which is Monday through Friday from 4:40 to 6:10. So we do practice 5 days a week. It is a lot, but after band camp, those practices go by like nothing. It feels so fast. I'm sure anyone can tell you. And then usually, we have our regular weekends. We perform at all the football games, so we usually do a morning rehearsal. But really, it is that Monday through Friday practice that gets us to where we're going.
Sure, yeah. So could you give us a little a preview of what you'll be performing here in Quincy on November 27th?
Oh yeah, so we love parades. We're playing obviously our school fight song, Fight Mass. We are playing, I believe, Stars and Stripes Forever, and then we're playing, I believe it's Jingle Down Main Street. So bringing a little bit of holiday cheer. Zoe, I didn't know if you wanted to add anything.
Yeah, those are the big three that we'll be doing on the move. Given the opportunity to stop and play, depending on the way the parade flows, we might play through a little Lane of a Thousand Dances for you. We might play through, we have a Santa Claus is coming to town arrangement that's really fun. We've been prepping. And then, yeah, you might get to hear like our cowbell and our fight song again. That's for UMass.
Fun. It sounds like a lot of fun. What is it that you would like spectators to know when they're watching you in the parade? What would the experience be for them, or what is it that you'd like them to feel from your performance?
Yeah, I can take this one.
Sure.
I think definitely whenever people are watching us, I always want them to know that I am having just as much fun as they are watching. I know a lot of people are like, don't you get tired? You guys are marching, like miles, you're playing all this stuff while you're walking. And the truth is, I could not be having more fun. All of the dancing, and we do a lot of, we sing, we dance, we do all this stuff just kind of for fun when we're performing. And it really is just as exciting and just as fresh and fun for us whenever we're doing it as the audience is perceiving.
Sure. How about for you, Emily?
I mean, basically, just as John has said, the marching band has just really given me life, and being there with all those people who are also just having a great time. I really hope that the spectators, that they can see just how much fun we're having, and just how much fun they're having. And then we all just have a great time out of that. And I hope maybe we can inspire some people to see the good in music. Maybe we can inspire some people to say, hey, I want to do marching band or any form of band again, I'm a very strong believer in just passing it on, sort of thing. If we are an origin of fun, and then other people start having their own fun, then we can start kind of spreading the goodness around, sort of like a ripple effect. That's my hope, at least. But nothing else. I hope they have a good time.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to ask all of you to share, some words of wisdom for aspiring young band members in high school right now, and what your advice would be to them if they wanted to continue that in their college career and beyond.
What we hope as a band is to show everybody who is in a high school band or curious about being in a band or middle school or even just a little kiddo watching what's going on. We want to show everybody that if you are interested at all, there is a place for you at UMass, and there is a band for you at UMass. And we are an excellent band that strives to be as great as we possibly can at everything we do, but we want everybody to be a part of that. And I think our size and our uniforms and our lines can be a little bit intimidating from the outside, but the reality of it is, you have people coming in from all sorts of backgrounds, people who've never been in a marching band before, people who've never played an instrument before. And if you are interested, whether you have marched drum corps for 7 years or whether you have never touched an instrument in your entire life, there is a home for you at UMass, and we want you in our band.
It's a great message. Jonna, what do you think?
Yeah, similar to what Zoe said, I would say if I had any advice, just go for it. It is such an amazing experience, and I know that it can be a little scary, especially during that transition to college, for the high school seniors that are coming up to decide, what you want to dedicate your time to. But it really is so worth it. You get so much out of what you put in to this organization and in any band, in any musical capacity. In college, you meet so many people, you get to still keep music in your life. And I would say, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, just go for it. I know all three of us are people that just went for it, and I think we could not have been happier.
Sure. So will you also be keeping in touch after graduation, do you think, Jonna?
Oh, of course. I have so many friends, lots of friends in band, and I could not even think about not keeping in contact with any of them, not even some of them, just any of them. I definitely will be staying close in contact with everybody that I've ever met in the UMMB.
Sure. Anything else you'd like to add, ladies, before we wrap up?
Thank you for having us, and I hope, if nothing else, that people who see us just take a chance to enjoy themselves and just take a chance to have some fun. And like Zoe and Jonna have said, just go for it, do what you love, have a good time, and maybe you can help other people have a good time too. And thank you for having us. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yes, Zoe, go right ahead.
That was really all I was going to say, is thank you for this opportunity. We are beyond excited to be joining you at the parade this upcoming weekend, and we hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving beforehand.
It's a great way to wrap it up, and I want to thank all of you for joining us here at QATV. We look forward to your performance, marching down Hancock Streets in the 69th Annual Quincy Christmas Parade. Christmas through the decades, by the way, is the theme of the parade. So if you wanted to add a little repertoire to go to that theme, folks might appreciate that. But thank you all, really appreciate it. Is there a way, Jonna, for anybody to get more information about the Minuteman Marching Band, social media, website, things of that nature that you'd like to share?
Yes, of course. Our social media handle on almost all social medias is at UMass Band. So that's Instagram, TikTok, UMass Minuteman Marching Band on Facebook. And if you ever want more information about us as an organization, you can go to umass.edu/band. That's our website. It's got everything you could ever think of on there.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. And happy holidays to all of you.